All right, you filthy animals. Welcome back to the Drunken Rant Uncensored. I'm your host, Liam, and as always, I'm fucking hammered.
And I'm Olivia, and let's just say I'm feeling pretty damn good myself.
Tonight, we're diving into some seriously fucked up shit, so get ready for it.
Ooh, sounds hot.
You know it, babe? So there was this synagogue.
A synagogue?
In Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne, isn't that where those hot surfers hang out?
Maybe. But this story is anything but a beach party. Someone decided to set the damn place on fire.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
They're saying it was arson. Some masked assholes doused the place with something flammable and lit it up.
Damn, that's messed up. What kind of sick fucks do that?
Well, the cops are calling it a potential terrorist attack, which means this shit just got real.
Terrorism? You're kidding, right? Like, are we talking ISIS down under?
Not sure about ISIS, but the authorities are saying it was probably politically motivated.
So some extremist nutjobs decided to torch a synagogue to make a statement? What the hell is wrong with people?
Exactly. And this isn't just some random act of vandalism either. It's got everyone talking about anti-Semitism in Australia.
Anti-Semitism, isn't that like hating Jews?
Bingo. And apparently there's been a whole lot more of that going on down under lately. This fire is just the latest and greatest, unfortunately.
That's seriously fucked up. Like, haven't we moved past this kind of shit?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But hate never seems to die. It just finds new ways to fuck shit up.
So what happens now?
Well, the Aussie cops are on the case, trying to track down the fire starters and figure out what their deal was. And everyone's talking about how to stop this shit from happening again.
It's pretty scary to think that people are out there targeting synagogues. What kind of world are we living in where this kind of shit still goes down?
A fucked up one, that's for sure. But hey, that's why we're here, right? To talk about the messed up shit and try to make some goddamn sense of it all.
You got that right, Liam. So let's get into it. What else do we know about this whole synagogue fire thing?
Well, from what I've gathered from these news reports, this synagogue, the Adas Israel Synagogue, is part of the pretty tight-knit Orthodox Jewish community in Melbourne.
Orthodox Jewish, those are the ones who are like super religious, right?
Yeah, pretty much. They keep it old school, follow all the rules and shit. So you can imagine this attack really shook them up.
I bet. I mean, it would be like someone attacking your church or your family's home. It's a direct hit on your identity, your community, your whole sense of safety.
Exactly. And the fact that it happened in a place that's supposed to be a sanctuary, a place of worship, makes it even more fucked up.
So what are the authorities saying about the investigation? Have they caught the bastards who did this?
Not yet, but they're working on it. They've got a whole counterterrorism task force on the case, which means they're taking this shit seriously.
Counterterrorism? Damn, that's intense. It sounds like they're treating this like a major crime scene.
They are, and for good reason. This kind of attack sends a message, you know? It's meant to terrorize people, to make them feel vulnerable and afraid.
So it's not just about burning down a building, it's about attacking an entire community and spreading fear.
You got it, babe. This is about way more than just bricks and mortar. It's about hate and intolerance and the kind of bullshit that divides people and makes the world a shitty place to live in.
All right, you degenerates. Welcome back for round 2 of our drunken deep dive into the synagogue inferno. Grab your drinks, light up a joint if you got one, and let's get back to this fucked up story.
Cheers to that. So as we left off, those Aussie cops were hot on the trail of the fire starters. Any updates on that front?
Well, it looks like they're making some progress. According to this article I found, the police have released CCTV footage of 2 suspects fleeing the scene.
Ooh, juicy. So they got these assholes on camera. What do they look like? A couple of skinhead, neo-Nazi dickheads.
Hold your horses, cowboy. The footage is grainy as hell, and the suspects were wearing masks, but it's something for the cops to work with, and the public is being asked to come forward with any information they might have.
Snitching on synagogue torching scumbags. That's a public service I can get behind.
Seriously, though, this investigation seems to be getting a lot of attention. The Australian Prime Minister even made a statement condemning the attack and promising to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Sounds like they're pulling out all the stops. What else are we shaking down under?
Well, this whole incident has really sparked a heated debate about anti-Semitism in Australia. There are some folks saying this was just an isolated incident, some random act of violence.
Yeah, right? Like those assholes just happened to stumble upon a synagogue and thought, hey, let's light this bitch up for shits and giggles.
Exactly. It's pretty hard to ignore the fact that there's been a noticeable increase in anti-Semitic incidents in Australia recently. Vandalism, harassment, online hate speech, the whole 9 yards.
So it's not just some random act of pyromania. There's a real pattern of Jew-hating bullshit going on down there.
It seems that way. And this synagogue fire is like pouring gasoline on an already smoldering fire, so to speak. It's brought the issue of anti-Semitism into the spotlight and forced people to confront some uncomfortable truths.
Like the fact that bigotry and prejudice are alive and well in the land of kangaroos and koalas.
Sadly, yes. And it's not just happening in Australia either. Anti-Semitism is on the rise in many parts of the world. It's like this ugly ancient virus that keeps mutating and finding new ways to infect society.
That's a pretty bleak outlook, babe.
Yeah.
You're bumming me out. Pass the tequila.
Okay, but just a sip. We need to stay focused here.
All right.
So what are people saying about the root causes of this anti-Semitic surge? Why are we seeing this spike in Jew hatred?
Well, some are pointing fingers at the usual suspects. Far-right extremist groups, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, those kinds of scumbags.
Right, the usual cast of hate-mongering characters. But is there anything else going on? Any other factors contributing to this disturbing trend?
Some are blaming social media for amplifying hate speech and creating echo chambers where bigotry can fester and spread.
That makes sense. The internet can be a breeding ground for all sorts of toxic crap. People can hide behind anonymous profiles and spew their hateful garbage without any real consequences.
And then there's the whole Israel-Palestine conflict, which always seems to inflame tensions and lead to a spike in anti-Semitic bullshit. It's like people can't separate their feelings about a political situation from their hatred towards an entire religious and ethnic group.
That's a good point, Liam. It's important to remember that criticizing the actions of a government or a political entity is not the same as attacking individuals or an entire group of people based on their religion or ethnicity. Unfortunately, those lines often get blurred, especially in heated political debates.
Yeah, it's like people lose their damn minds and forget that not all Jews are Israeli prime ministers or whatever. They just lump everyone together and unleash their hate on anyone who happens to be Jewish. Fucked up.
It is. And it highlights the dangers of prejudice and stereotyping. When we reduce entire groups of people to simplistic labels and assumptions, we dehumanize them and make it easier to justify hatred and violence against them.
Damn, that's some deep shit for a drunken rant. You sure you haven't been sneaking some philosophy books into your tequila stash?
Maybe just a few. But hey, even drunkards can have moments of profound insight, right?
Touche, babe, touche. So what's the prognosis for this whole anti-Semitism thing? Is it going to keep getting worse, or is there hope for a brighter, less Jew-hating future?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Or like the billion-dollar question, considering the shitstorm we're facing.
Right.
So what's the answer? Lay it on me, wise one.
I don't have a crystal ball, Liam, but I think it's a mixed bag. On the one hand, we're seeing more awareness and condemnation of anti-Semitism than ever before. People are speaking out against hate, and governments are taking steps to address the issue.
So there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe a glimmer of hope for humanity after all.
Maybe. But on the other hand, we're also seeing a rise in far-right extremism, online hate speech, and political polarization, all of which can fuel anti-Semitism and other forms of bigotry.
So it's a battle between the forces of good and evil, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. Sounds like the plot of a superhero movie.
Something like that. But in this movie, we're all the superheroes, and we all have a role to play in fighting hate and intolerance.
Damn, that's some inspirational shit right there. You should bottle that and sell it. Olivia's Elixir of Hope and Tolerance. I bet it would sell like hotcakes.
Okay, Liam, I think we need another drink. And maybe a snack. All this deep thinking is making me hungry.
You read my mind, babe. Let's take a quick break to refuel and then come back for the grand finale of this synagogue fire saga. Don't go anywhere, you beautiful bastards.
Liam.
All right, you drunken degenerates. We're back.
Yeah.
Miss us? I know you did. It's the thrilling conclusion of our synagogue fire saga, brought to you by cheap tequila and righteous indignation.
I think righteous might be a stretch, Liam.
Hey, give a drunk guy some credit for trying to sound smart.
That's fair enough. So where were we?
Ah, yes.
The global implications of this whole mess.
Global implications shit. This synagogue fire is going international. Next stop, the UN.
Well, maybe not the UN. But this incident has definitely made headlines around the world. News travels fast, especially when it involves something as shocking and disturbing as a potential act of terrorism targeting a religious institution.
So what are people saying about this shit in other countries? Are they freaking out?
It's a mixed bag. There's been a lot of condemnation from world leaders and international organizations expressing solidarity with the Jewish community in Australia and denouncing anti-Semitism in all its forms.
Sounds like the good guys are speaking up. But what about the bad guys? Are those neo-Nazi scumbags cheering this shit on?
Unfortunately, there's always that element. Extremist groups and individuals who thrive on hate and violence are probably getting off on this. It's a sick and twisted world we live in.
Oh shit. So what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Besides getting drunk and ranting about it on a podcast,
Well, awareness is a good starting point. The more people know about the problem, the more likely they are to speak out against it and challenge prejudice and discrimination when they encounter it.
Right, because sunlight is the best disinfectant. Unless you're a vampire, of course. Then it's a real buzzkill.
Liam, please. We're trying to have a serious conversation here.
Fine. But seriously, what else can we do? I'm all for kicking some neo-Nazi ass, but I'm not sure I'm cut out for that kind of action. I'm more of a lover, not a fighter.
Well, there are many ways to fight hate and intolerance without resorting to violence. Supporting organizations that combat anti-Semitism and promote interfaith dialogue is a good start.
Like donating money. Because my wallet is feeling a little light after that last tequila run.
It doesn't have to be about money. You can volunteer your time, educate yourself and others about the issue, challenge stereotypes and prejudices when you encounter them, and create a more inclusive and welcoming environment in your own community.
Sounds like a lot of work. Can we just drink more tequila and hope the problem magically disappears?
Liam, that's not how it works. We have to be proactive and engage with the world around us if we want to see real change.
Fine. You're right.
Yeah.
But can we at least have one more tequila for the road? For solidarity.
Okay, one more for solidarity. And for the hope that we can all work together to create a world where synagogues don't get burned down and people aren't targeted because of their religion or ethnicity.
Cheers to that, babe.
Yeah.
And to all you beautiful bastards out there, thanks for joining us on this drunken deep dive into the Synagogue Fire saga. We hope you learned something, even if it was just how to properly pronounce anti-Semitism.
And if you enjoyed our drunken ramblings, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends about us. The more the merrier, right? Especially when it comes to fighting hate and intolerance.
That's right. Spread the love, not the hate. And always remember, drink responsibly. Unless you're on this podcast, then drink irresponsibly and have a goddamn good time. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Liam.